Hello and welcome back to another episode of Gregtech Community Edition Modern. Last time we started on our Naquadah chains behind me here, and I have gone ahead and set up two machines we're going to be using pretty soon. I guess we're still waiting on that to... Wait, why is that not... Insufficient inputs? What do you mean insufficient inputs? Do we not have enough... Oh, we don't have enough of that. Okay. Got it. Okay, so I did set it up so that we can have some hydrofluoric acid pump into the system here, basically. And then as that goes through, we'll see some more filter out. Now, I did go ahead and set up two different places here to get started with our mixers. The only thing that I'm going to have to make sure, we need our enriched solution stored in here, because later on we will have stuff to feed back into the system. So we want our enriched, I think that's right. Yeah. Naquadria and, yeah. But that's not... Okay, no, it is right. So we want our enriched Naquadria solution. And then we will place a second one right here. And we will do the same exact thing on this one, but with our Naquadria. Naquadria solution. Where do we get this thing? Oh, and then we get it. Yeah, okay. Okay. I was a little bit confused there. So now we just need to get power over here. That's going to be a little bit of a fun one, but it's not going to be too difficult as we will come around underneath right there. And then make sure we can go straight across into the bottom. And then we just got to trace our steps. So, we can go ahead and pull this one over. Just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now we can just clip those wires, get them up in there, and then we will have to set up a second storage. So the reason I wanted it to input from that side is that we will have to set up a second storage bus. Cable. Just get like 100 more of those going. Not 200, just one. There we go. Okay. So we do need to set up a second one here. And I do think our easiest solution would be to place an interface here, but kind of not at the same time. So we're just going to go ahead and do the storage bus method, because I like that one. So with that, use, we want to mix in some sulfuric acid into the two of these. So we'll put that and that on there. And then we can start to wire those up in a second here. Like the first thing I want to make sure is that we're sending some over. So we want to send over some sulfuric acid. We do want to set this to, it is already a higher priority than the tank. So we should be getting some over once we have a place to store it. So now let's go ahead and bring that across. And that should get started here in a second, which should be any moment now. Pretty sure we're making some. And it is. It is slowly filling itself in there. But as soon as that reaches 2, we'll get our first little run. So we're just going to have to wait as stuff will start to fill in. But now we've got ourselves the acidic Naquadria solution. And go ahead and do this really quick. Now, the interesting thing is, once we have the acidic, this is our Naquadria, we now need to centrifuge it again with an HV centrifuge. And we will get back fluorine, as well as Naquadria sulfate and Naquadria waste. So this is where the fun gets to start to begin, because we do need a way to get the waste over. You only get it from one thing. Now when you distill that one out, you get... Okay. Is this thing is done over here? Yep. Now, we need to pump this out into a... We were talking about a mix... Not a mixer, a centrifuge. So let's make 2 more regulators really quick. Regulators. We need 2 more. Because we do not want partial solutions. But we can place this right here to be able to accept from either end. And since there is only the one input, it can only accept from either one in the manner that it will have. So here we go. And it is right there, and right there that it needs to be. And I said right... Oh, we're gonna have to wrench that. Silly me. Wrench. Wrench that way, maybe? And then we'll go ahead and put that there. So this needs to be supply exact buckets of 3. And if there are not 3 buckets, then it is not to supply. So now we can go ahead and come over here and say the same thing. Supply exact 3 buckets. So now we've got our Naquadria waste and some fluorine. So this is going to exit the front. So let's go ahead and set that up to exit the front. And the waste is what will be going directly into our... Yes, they're all over here. Forgot about that. Distillery tower. So, I'm going to set this up a little bit away right here. Is good. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We do need our input. We need our maintenance hatch right here as well. And then I believe we do also get, yes, we get gallium from it. So we want ourselves, I guess the output should be better off right there, since we're going to be aligning it with the intake for those. So we now need a, where'd it go? We need the 3 output hatches and an output bus. Or not bus. Input hatch. Where'd our input hatch go? We do need an output bus, though. So we'll take the output bus, place that there. We need our 3 hatches. 1, 2, and 3. And then we need... What do we need for MV? I think I grabbed an HV. Means we'll have to do our second transformer, because that HV thing is puts. So we got what? 1, 2, 3. Unless, of course, let's go down below really quick, and we can do something. Interesting. So we know that this one is here. So let's actually run that just right there, and we can switch this because we have an extra EV voltage there. We're going to go ahead and snap this onto there, and then wrench it around to face the other way. And then here is the best part. We can actually snip the wire there right in the middle. Right there. And go 1, 2, and snip it right there. Now we can go figure out where we need to bring over the wire to. Let's see. We have a... No, we have an IV energy hatch. I think I like the idea of an HV one better, so let's go ahead and just make sure. And we even have one. Sweet. So we can go ahead and place it right here. Means that is the place we need open. Wrench it down, and we can go down below and hook it up. So it will immediately start going as soon as we get our inputs in. So now we just need to go from here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess I went 1 too short. And it's not that one, it's this one. Grab out a bunch more of those cables. And just so that I don't have to go back up, we'll do that. And right there. Okay, and now we should be able to just fill this all in really quick. We need the hatch still. Hatch. Oh. Hatch. Hatch. Come on. Right there. Input hatch. Boom. Kind of don't know why I have 12, but that just means that we have a sufficient amount, so build this little mini distillery here, and boom. All done. So now we can go ahead and pipe our waste over. So this becomes the thing of we want only the Naquadria waste and the enriched Naquadah waste will go in there. Those are the only 2 inputs we want. We can take ourselves some interfaces now. We'll need the interface here. We will need that to go there. And that looks like our Naquadria sulfate's still there. We actually can have that come out this end too, so we'll do that in a minute, but we also want this interface here. Line it up, and then up and over. And so now that should have power, we should get the waste in there, and it will flow itself through. And then as all of these come out, we can take all 3 of these. Oh, we're out of interfaces. I will say we do tend to use a lot in something like this. Let's grab 10 more up and running, and we've got ourselves enough for this part. And we can go ahead and wire in all of this directly into there, so that when it is done, which will take... How long does it take? That's not too bad. 15 seconds. And we'll get our gallium sulfide. We'll get the Naquadria solution, which will all feed itself back directly into here and keep going until it's all gone. And we will also get our sulfate. Now, this is where I think the majority of this ends here. Because I believe... Oh, no, we do need to blast furnace this thing. That's one of the things that we gotta do. Okay. And I don't think I necessarily prepared for this blast furnace one yet. But we can do this one instead. So we get that one, and then the other one we get, what is that one used for? We need that one and a blast furnace also with hydrogen. So, and this one is the interesting one. So this one needs the trinium coil, so we cannot do this one. This is going to be stuck there for now. So let's actually go ahead and get... Why is that stopped? Is that because we don't have enough? What are we out of? Hello? We got our hydrofluoric acid. And to... No? We have something go somewhere that it got stuck? Where did we get this from again? So we got that. Then we're supposed to get it back from the centrifuge of the impure solutions, which would already have gone through, right? Oh, something got suckered over. How did that get in there? Oh, I didn't use the impure. So this one is this one. This one is this one impure. There we go. Now we can go ahead and pull this out. And it should work properly. There we go. That was our problem all along. Okay. Now we can do ourselves a favor and do a chest. Let's do a chest right here. We have so much junk in our inventory too, so it's going to take a second for that. And we can put some... Two, 3, 6, 7, and 8. And then let's grab that chest. Just so we can make sure we can go through quite a bit of this stuff in the meantime. And there we go. So we can let that continue to run as we get through this. So we do actually have one more solution we need to find, and that was for the indium phosphate. And so let's get started on that one. So that... Oh, we only need a chemical reactor for that. With some calcium. So I think we can just run that to a... I guess that means that I am ready for that other one. So let's go ahead and set this to be where this goes. And we'll just run that into something else later. We don't need those anymore. We are going to need the blast furnace things. And so now comes the final part that we're going to have to do. And that one is going to require us to be able to consume an IV pole. So IV is coming out of there. We've got... I think we have enough. We're only taking 2 of those, which means we're only using 1 still. Okay, so we do have plenty. We're just going to need our IV cables. We'll come up and over here, since we've already gone underneath. And then we'll come back down so we don't have to do so again. and right to there. So let's go ahead and clip that wire, and then we can put all of that stuff away. And now comes the part of we need ourselves. Let's dump the transformer away. Transformers, we'll dump the power block. We need one of these. Oh, we only need one. We need our output bus. We need our muffler. We need our coils. We need our IV in thing. And what we needed was, I believe, this one, the Enriched. So we need two inputs. We need a hydrogen input, and we need a sulfuric acid output. So we're going to need this squarely right there. And now comes for our inputs. So we don't need that one. We do need an output bus. Do we have anything left in there, inputs, output-wise? No, we don't. Okay. So for input, we need ourselves a bus and a hatch. And then for output, we need ourselves another output hatch. Alright, and there is our output hatch. So now we can go ahead and quickly throw this machine together. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. We will throw our thing there and there. Do all of our coils nice and quick. And then that one. So we need our outputs and inputs. We'll do the inputs on the side so I can manage those easily. Input right here and right here. And our outputs on the back. Output and output. And then we just need our muffler right up top and the rest of our blocks once again. And okay, so storage bus for the inputs. Let's grab our interfaces for the outputs. The outputs are going to be our interfaces. And then we just got to wire it on up once again. But we do need to set those first. So we need our Enriched. We need our Enriched NADAC in one, and we need hydrogen in the other. So let's look at this one. We need our hydrogen in there. We need our Enriched there, and now we can set all of that up. And then that should be able to run as well. We just gotta, I think we just gotta get... Is this... Oh, that's right, we gotta set it as an output. There we go. Now we should see this get ready. No? Oh, we're full. Fluorine needs an exit. That's what we need, and then we can do the rest of that. So fluorine... Fluorine. If I could spell it. Oh my goodness, I apparently can't spell to save my life. U-O. L-U-O. There we go. Fluorine. Yes. That'll go ahead and exit that out the system. And now we can actually get that through. And with that, that's a pretty good setup right there. I do think once we get through what we've started over here, I need to go ahead and try to let this thing do a flush, I guess, so to speak, where I will put a 4-input hatch there so both inputs don't sit there clogging it. 15-second time isn't too bad on the process, but there is all of those. I believe that's pretty much all we can do right now because we gotta wait for more Trinium. Ooh, but we also are gonna have to have... Okay, so we need to have hydrogen come in as well to store in the hydrogen spots. Is that gonna... Yes, let's go ahead and bump that priority up. Maybe to like 15. There we go. And now we'll get some sulfuric acid, which will help cycle into this input. Which will make making more of this actually super easy. And my guess is once we get the Naquadria figured out, we can actually take off the sulfuric gas input. Because both of those will... sulfuric acid, not gas. Both of those will actually connect to the system that we want it to. It is pretty sweet. The only thing that kind of sucks is that we're constantly doing Naquadria, even though we do not have the stuff for that. And I think... No, we're not backed up yet. Not entirely, anyways. The only thing that could help is upgrading this. I guess the last thing we gotta do is we got gallium sulfide that's going back. Do we have something else somewhere here that was... No. So, now we just gotta look at our... Oh no, we have the indium phosphate. So the indium phosphate needs to be chemically reacted with calcium, and then the calcium phosphate can be electrolyzed. So let's go ahead and go get those set up. And then we need the gallium sulfide. And that one just needs to be electrolyzed as well. So we can go ahead and come over here, I believe. Set me up a little thing here. So we can throw that in there. We can throw that in there. We just need to go ahead and add those in. And now we just do a little bit of a... I have it storing over here, don't I? That's confusing. Oh, and we got barium sulfide, so let's go ahead and... Yep, the same thing, electrolyzer. Okay, so we do need... That's where it was wrong. Okay, so we need a storage bus there. Calcium phosphate's not going to be stored there, and that one. Let's get that chemical reactor. Just a standard, a little teeny tiny LUV. And then we should be able to go back and actually see this thing start hammering away. And we need to add our barium sulfide to that as well. Always a wonderful day when you hear that lightning outside. And then we're not really using this extractor anymore, so I'm going to go ahead and pop that off. And we'll put our chemical reactor right there. Okay. Now... we're going to need to do another robotic arm thing, which I think I actually have one still. I do. Sweet. Okay, so robotic arm. Go right there. It's going to be import supply exact 1. I think that's what we need for the indium, right? No. 2. Keep exact. And then we just want, we're going to need a filter. Filter. To be able to filter just the inputs we want. And then we can use the manual just to make sure that it does not pull the items out of the interface that we put back there too. So just get the wrench out of the way and filter. We want our indium phosphate. And then using that with calcium. Calcium is the other one we want. And we want 2. Oh, that's cool. Did they do an update? I think they did an update because this is not the way it was working before. Unless I'm just completely insane and I didn't realize that this is exactly how it worked before and I should have just done that as well. So let's go ahead and say we need 1, 2, 1, 2, and then we need there we go. We need our calcium. That will do its job, and then we can just send the output back on out. And there we go. Our indium processing is set up now. We can just come back on over and make sure our indium is exporting out of the system through here. It is. And we just gotta check to make sure all of our machines are free and clear pretty much. Looks like that is the case so far. I think our only problem is the Naquadria sulfate. So we're gonna have to set up a nice good old-fashioned barrel for that. Or not barrel, drawer. Because otherwise, we're going to end up with a problem of overflowed inputs. So let's make sure that's there. Take out 1. Set that there. And now we can rest assured that we are getting ourselves some Trinium. Now, that is great because the next location, once we've got ourselves that Trinium, oh, I'm supposed to get a bucket of that stuff. That's not good. I don't know how I'm going to get that bucket. Maybe just like this. There we go. So we got that, and now we can get ourselves that Trinium. Boom. Now with the Trinium, let's go ahead and read about it. We've got Trinium as a very important material. For progression, you will need to make a fusion reactor, but it stays relevant all the way through ZPM. Well, this particular quest book writer can never have enough of this stuff. It also requires an LUV electric blast furnace to smelt. Perhaps dedicate a setup solely for cooking this unless you're confident that your infrastructure can deal with it. I do think my infrastructure can deal with it. We're going to let this kind of just keep going to get plenty of it because I wanted to look into that next quest before we find out. So let's read about our fusion reactor before we go. First things first. build the version of the structure that uses fusion glass and EMI. It's far cheaper right now. To save on fusion casings, fit input/output hatches wherever you can, as displayed in the structure. The fusion reactor will pick a free output hatch from the many that are available. In order to force the reactor to use a particular output hatch, you can always lock all the hatches to an irrelevant fluid. We usually use water. This time, we'll try something new. We're going to explain the lore at the same time as the mechanics. Gregtech 5's fusion reactor stores EU that you feed it and its internal buffer. The maximum capacity is determined by the amount of energy hatches in the structure. Recipes can only start if the EU to start is stored internally, which will be consumed. With this stored energy, the reactor can keep running recipes until it goes idle. At that point, it will need to be topped up on EU to start again. Shadow of Greg's fusion reactor, which is now Gregtech Community Edition Unofficial Fusion Reactor, comes with an added mechanic called heat. When the reactor is running, the EU to start is converted to heat. That heat is preserved until the reactor goes idle, at which point it will slowly go down. The next time a recipe is found, it will use all possible heat and deduct it from the EU to start, allowing you to save energy for short pauses. The fusion reactor can only run recipes up to a required EU of 160 MEU to start. This will also overclock up to LUV at best, even if you upgrade to ZPM hatches, so don't stress over attempting this. Okay. That is a massive ring. And it says the fusion glass one is the one that we want to do. And then any place that we are allowed to place a input or output hatch, we should do. So outputs on the side, inputs. Okay, that's gonna be an expensive machine. We need superconducting coils, which requires nobium. Okay. I don't think these do anything but that superconducting thing. Okay. Oh, liquid trinium? Bruh. That's like 10. Not quite 10. That's a little bit more than 10. Okay, no, it's like 8. Still, that's a lot for the superconducting coils. Oh, bruh. Oh, yeah, we are not doing that recipe. Oh, my goodness. Looks like we're going to be here for a little while. I just realized that if I don't... Oh, that's expensive. Oh, wait. That's just for this block, right? Just for this block. I think so. Just make sure that we're safe on that. No! That's gonna be a lot, guys. So, this does look like something that's gonna take some time. I'm gonna have to leave this going for a little while and go mine some more of the fluorine producing stuff. So, I'm glad I took a look at that. Because I would have been super excited for next episode to do the fusion reactor, and we would not have done it at all. Not a chance. I think our first goal is to get ourselves those trinium coils so that we can actually use that. Actually, I don't think we can get those yet either, can we? Yep, thought so. Liquid Naquadria. Oh, we could do that. What are you talking about? Trinium wire, yeah. Enriched Naquadah foil. Yeah, I could totally do those cables. What are you talking about? I can't do those cables. Have I not been getting enriched in Naquadria? I can get out of this and stop that. Enriched. What was I doing with the use? Oh, see, we could totally do this. Good to know. Good to know. Alright. Well, thank you guys for watching here. We are now finished with our Naquadah change. Not quite, actually, but we need our coils for this last thing right above my head here. And once we get that going, we will be all set to finish up the Naquadah chains. But to do that, I'm going to have to go get those Trinium coils set up. I think that's what that's called. Trinium, titanium, one of them. One of the two. Trinium coils. So, thank you guys for watching. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And next time, we will work on getting those coils so we can actually finish the final part of this chain with those Naquadria sulfate dusts into ingots. Thank you guys for watching. Bye!